All right. Hey, come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you here. I'm going to be your host for the event, but I'm about to turn it over to two incredible presenters. My name is Jim Tanner. I make my home in the Metro West suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts. And a little housekeeping for you as we get started. You're set up so that you're muted. We'd love to have you join us in the chat and just share with us in the chat. As a matter of fact, help us test the chat, make sure we know it's working by sharing where you're zooming in from for the event today. And what you're going to see is we're going to have folks joining us from across the map, really, probably in the United States and Canada as well. And I'm excited to be here with you. And I'm excited that I'm going to be turning it over to a few people to do some chatting here in a second. But I see Florida, South Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania. You'll see that in the chat. We got New York, we got South Carolina. You're going to see that it's going to dot the map. So I'm excited for that. Really, it'll be an international event this evening. Again, we're at 9 o'clock, 9:01 Eastern. So I'm going to get right into it. We've already hit record, and I'm going to let our presenters give you all the details. But I'll just say this. You're about to see information that I saw for the first time nearly 2 decades ago. In February, it will be 20 years ago that I was sitting in the seat that you're sitting in right now, learning for myself about an incredible company, an incredible opportunity, flagship products that really make an impact, and so much information that I just couldn't believe what I'd stumbled upon. And so, for those of you that are invited guests today, you are going to be really excited to thank the person that invited you, that individual that thought enough of you to include you in this information. And let's get to this information. So, you're going to be hearing from two phenomenal presenters today, and I'm going to introduce the first of the two to kick it off. And this is going to be Mr. John Fehrenbach in the Ohio market. Mr. Fehrenbach is one of our top business builders. He's been with the company for a couple of years. This is a gentleman that I've been watching and just witnessing personally how much he enjoys helping people win in this business. He certainly has all the information. He's going to be talking to you about that information today. And he's not going to admit it, but this is a guy who really likes to have fun. I think you're going to notice as he does this presentation as well. So, Mr. Fehrenbach, I'm excited to hear your presentation as well as from Ms. Sonora Danzler as well. And I'll turn it over to you. Take it away.
Good evening, everybody. And I do know how to have fun, especially laugh at myself as I stumble over a word or two in this presentation. So please forgive me if I do that. I am from Louisville, Ohio. If any of you are familiar with the Professional Football Hall of Fame, I'm about 15 minutes from there, and I spend some time in the summer volunteering during our Enshrinement Festival here in Canton. It's I don't know, a couple million people show up for this thing. I'm not sure why. Something about football drives them, sends them this way. I'm going to jump right in this evening. Value your time. I'm going to share my screen first before I do that. There we go. Let's start there. Sorry. And share. And then I got to get rid of a couple things while I'm doing this. Oh, come on. There we go. See my screen, folks? I didn't hear any no's. So listen, we're going to talk this evening about your opportunity and your freedom. And I am certainly super excited to share information with you that was shared with me a couple of years ago. I'm going to start directing most of my comments to those of you who are invited guests this evening. Somebody thought enough about you to invite you to this Zoom to learn about the impact we're having coast to coast in the US and Canada. We're certainly glad you're here. What we know is that the world has changed forever, and people want choices. People are looking for income choices. They're choosing a better work-life balance, and they're choosing more flexibility and independence. In these uncertain times, I'm certain it makes sense to even have a backup plan. For me, that backup plan was to work some type of a business. I knew that I can count on me. I've never fired myself. I've never laid myself off, given myself a stern warning now and again. But I knew that I'd be building a future that I could never do as an employee. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. Some of you are here today because you're evaluating your opportunities in the marketplace, maybe as you pivot to a new career or maybe as a backup plan. We're going to share information this evening for your consideration. But before we do that, With your permission, I'd like to ask you a question. Are you working for the right type of income? We know that there's basically three types of income. First off, there's linear income, where you've agreed on an hourly wage or a salary, and you've told them you'll give them a certain amount of hours per week. Usually it's 40. Sometimes if you're on a salary, it's I'll give you 40 and end up giving them 50 or 60. But basically, for a sum of money, they're going to get your time, literally trading time for money. Some folks might call that a regular job. And then there's leveraged income, where you might build a team and leverage the income potential of not just yourself or one person, but by a multiple. If you have 10 people out there in the field, you'd be leveraging their income potential. An example of that might be a broker. We know that they have a product or service such as real estate or insurance, and they have a bunch of agents in the field selling, and the broker gets a piece of each and every sale. So that would be leveraged income. And then there's residual income, where the work you do today, tomorrow, next week, maybe even next month will continue to pay off for years to come. Examples of this might be royalties that music artists get, or even television actors get every time their movie or TV series is aired. It might even be considered a retirement plan. It's literally disconnecting time from money. I've heard this called rollover money, where you roll over in bed and the money just never stops. We'll be discussing this a bit more in detail later. Now, let's stop to consider the type of company. We know that there's 5 areas to evaluate. You're looking for a company that is rock solid and has stood the test of time. We know that startups can be a bunch of fun, but the upside is certainly unpredictable, which makes the downside unpredictable, and they're certainly volatile. We need to know if there's a need in the marketplace for their product, and does their product fill that need in an easy to use manner? And are you compensated well for sharing the product with other people? And we need to know if this is the right time for their particular product and that particular company. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our company. This is our founder, Harlan Stonecipher. Mr. Stonecipher was in an accident where he wasn't at fault. The other party that caused the accident was cited, got all the tickets from the State Highway Patrol. And while he lay in the hospital recuperating from his injuries, an attorney had convinced the other party to file a lawsuit against Mr. Stonecipher. Mr. Stonecipher literally drained his life savings defending himself. Now, he was a full-time teacher and an insurance agent, and he started to think about his particular situation. He noted that he had car insurance that he knew would replace his car. He had health insurance, and he knew that would handle all his hospital bills. And if something tragic were to have happened, he had life insurance to take care of his family. But he had absolutely nothing that would help him with a lawsuit. From that accident, a mission was born: equal access to justice. From his kitchen table to this home office in Ada, Oklahoma, this 51-year-old company is protecting and empowering 4.4 million people across the US and Canada. Our vision? To provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. You'll find us written up in Forbes magazine, CNBC, Bloomberg, Yahoo. This company's been traded on the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, and then was acquired by MidOcean Partners for $650 million and is currently valued at over $2 billion. Now, why might you ask? Well, we've mastered this thing called disruptive innovation, making things simpler, easier, and certainly more affordable. Now, I'm sure you all remember shopping at the mall or going to the store to find a pair of shoes and then driving to another store to get shirts or a dress or whatever it might be. Well, somebody who's a disruptive innovator, Amazon. From your couch or your chair or in front of your computer, you can literally do all of that shopping right from your very own couch with an app on your phone. And sometimes same day, next day, maybe even the following day, it shows up at your doorstep and you've never had to leave your house, making things simpler, easier, and more affordable. I don't know if anybody here remembers buying CDs or vinyl LPs or maybe even 8 tracks, but you used to have to go to a store and you pay through files and files and files of music looking for your favorite artist or your favorite genre, or maybe a new artist or genre that you decided you wanted to listen to. Well, today we have something called Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, where you can search literally for the genre of music you want to listen to, or a specific song or an artist that you want to listen to. It comes up on your phone, you hit play, and there you go. No more going to the store and paging through all those albums. And don't even get me started about what Uber and Lyft did to the taxi industry. Holy mackerel, talk about disruptive innovators. Well, what about getting access to the justice system? Well, that's where we come in. I don't know if you have ever had any of these things happen to you, but as I go through them, if something strikes an alarm in your head, just throw a one into the chat. I don't know if you've ever thought about writing or maybe even revising your will. If you've been notified that your personal information was compromised, I think we get one of those about once a week. I'd have to put a one in the chat. Maybe you've been treated unfairly or said, let me speak to your supervisor. I just had that happen here recently. Maybe you've been a victim or breach of identity theft. I talked to a guy today he's on his 7th year of fighting an identity theft that happened to him. Maybe you signed a contract that you didn't quite understand, or maybe even regretted later. Received a traffic ticket and just didn't know what to do. Maybe you had an insurance claim denied that you thought was covered. Had questions regarding your credit score, or maybe even bought a defective product and wondered exactly what your rights were. Maybe your social media account had been hacked. I swear every day I'm getting something from one of my friends on Facebook that says, don't respond to anything, my account's been hacked. We know that these things happen all the time. There's certainly everyday normal things that happen to us. Probably wouldn't even consider calling an attorney just because of the expense. Now, with the tap of the app, we're connected to an attorney for all of those everyday issues. We call this Legal Shield. This is what our app looks like on the phone. Imagine this app on your phone. With the tap of a button, you're connected to our network of attorneys. There's no need to vet them. Legal Shield has already done that for you. The right attorney for your particular situation, right through this mobile app. Now, we know the things. The other day I was talking to one of my friends and I said, listen, pretend you're my attorney. And for the next 30 days, I'd like you to do the following things. And I'd like you to come up with a monthly charge for doing these things for me this particular month. First off, I want you to handle any and all personal legal advice that I might come up with. I might call you every day and ask some type of legal question, and I just need your best legal opinion on those particular things. I'd like you to review any kind of contracts or documents that I might get involved with, whether it's buying a car or whatever it is. I'd just like you to look them over and make sure that I'm being taken care of. And then if there's a particular situation where I don't feel like I'm being treated fairly, I'd like you to send a letter or make a call on my behalf, certainly if it's in my best interest. And then I'd like you to take care of my will, my living will, my health care and financial powers of attorney. If I get a traffic ticket, I want you to help me through that traffic ticket and make sure that I get the best outcome possible. If I'm named in a civil trial, I'd like you to take care of me there for all the pretrial work and the trial work. And then if the IRS comes knocking on my door, I'd like a little bit of tax audit assistance from you to help me through that particular situation, just so I know I have you on my side. And then I want you to take your phone to bed with you. He asked me why. I said, well, if something happens to me, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is, and I'm about to be detained or they're putting me in handcuffs, I want to be able to call you on my phone. You pick up your phone and you advise me the best way to handle that particular situation. He just looked at me, just dazed. Also, he says, also, what do you mean also? Yes, also, any type of uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, maybe I've decided to change my name. I'd like you to handle those things for me. And I want you to do this again for one lump sum. Well, you can imagine. He said, there's no way I could do that for one lump sum. We've heard tens of thousands of dollars. We've heard that it'll bankrupt our firm for us to do anything like that. Well, guess what? For $29.95 a month, Legal Shield does all of that. Personal legal advice on an unlimited number of personal issues, contracts and documents reviewed. They'll make the calls and send letters on your behalf. They'll take care of putting together your will, your living will, your healthcare power of attorney, traffic ticket assistance. If you get a ticket, literally you open up the app on their phone, take a picture of it and upload it right to your firm, and they'll make sure that you get the best outcome of that particular situation. If it's a civil trial that you're named in, they got you covered with pretrial and trial time, as well as tax audit assistance. And yes, they go to bed with their phones. You have 24/7 emergency protection. And just to add a little bit of extra care, if there's something that is not covered under our plan, you get a 25% preferred member discount off of their normal rates. How wonderful is that? And then to boot, also, right? Uncontested divorces, adoptions, separations, name changes are all taken care of after you've had our plan for 90 days. And again, just for $29.95 a month, $1 a day, $1 a day for peace of mind. Who's covered? Well, the member's covered. The member's spouse or domestic partner, your never married dependent children under the age of 26 at home or full-time students, dependent children under the age of 18 for whom the member is a legal guardian, and any physically or mentally disabled children living at home. That is Legal Shield. It's plain, it's simple, and it's certainly practical. Our other flagship product is ID Shield. Now, we know this particular market is pretty crowded. A lot of the identity protection, if you will, they monitor and they send you alerts based on your credit score or your credit bureau, your social security number, your passport. They pay attention to all of those things. And if there's ever action being taken with those, they send you an alert and say, hey, I don't know if this is you or not, but we noticed this is happening. They also, some of them pay attention to your privacy in your social media, through privacy reputation management. They look at Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and more. And of course, ID Shield does all of those things too. But I guess I'm sure that you all know this, but I think it needs to be said. Your identity is not your credit score. It's your brand in the marketplace. It's who you are. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. And that's what Identity Shield protects you against. People don't want to be embarrassed or shamed in their community, and that's what that privacy reputation does. ID Shield pays attention to your identity through these monitoring, alerts, and reputation management services. And to boot, we have a $3 million protection plan against identity related theft, plan for identity theft related issues. We have a $3 million protection plan in case you're financially burdened because of a theft. And I guess to me, what sets us apart from everybody else is we have licensed private investigators who their job is to help you restore your identity back to its pre-theft status. They'll do whatever it takes. They'll work as long as it takes to restore your identity to that pre-theft status. If your identity's ever compromised, stolen, or otherwise, they do whatever it takes. And I tell you what, I love that about our service. We also have a suite of electronic protection, malware, up to 10 devices. We have a VPN, which basically hides your internet or your when you're out at McDonald's or Starbucks or wherever you're at, it hides you from those public networks so that prying eyes can't get into what you're looking at. And of course, a password manager. It saves you time, identifies and changes weak passwords, of course, with your permission, and it gives you full control. And for those of you that get involved with both our Legal Shield plan and ID Shield plan, we have credit counseling and education, and certainly privacy management. Just for those two things alone, people pay hundreds of dollars a month to get that type of credit counseling to help better their credit or help to figure out how to get loans or whatever it might be. They pay hundreds of dollars a month for that information. Anyways, our individual plan is $19.95 a month, and our family plan is $34.95 a month. Who's covered? Well, in the individual plan, of course, the member's covered. In the family plan, the member's covered, the member's spouse or domestic partner, and up to 10 dependent children under the age of 18. It also provides consultation, restoration services for dependent children ages 18 to 26. So that's our ID Shield plan. We also offer, and as part of those plans, member perks. We have over 400 different vendors that are vying for your business with discounts and promotions. Typically, it's enough to offset your Legal Shield and ID Shield membership. There's discounts at Costco's, T-Mobile, shoes, hotels. I mean, you name it. Anything that you buy, you'll be able to find a vendor in our member perks because they're all vying for your business. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Ms. Sonora Dantzler, who's over in Colorado. I think she runs that whole west side of the state. Ms. Dantzler, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, John. And yes, absolutely. So you guys just heard from Mr. John Nair, and he just shared with you guys some amazing and some wonderful information. He shared with you about our Legal Shield product as well as our ID Shield product. And he also just shared a little bit of information about our members perks. And I'm definitely excited about members perks as well too. As a matter of fact, member perks saves us on everyday spending. We just actually booked a hotel as well as a car rental for the upcoming holiday. And our daughter just saved on some track shoes for competitions. So member perks is definitely a no-brainer. So what I'm going to share with you guys today, because it's exactly what you came here for, is about the opportunity, about the compensation. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you can see right here on the screen, you can make $70 just by sharing that same information that Mr. Fehrenbach just shared with you. You share with someone about the services using your website that we provide for you. It takes about 3 minutes. They sign up based on your recommendation, and there you are. You're making $70 just for sharing that information. It's simple, it's easy to do, and anybody can share the information, and it doesn't matter how busy you are. So just like right now, you're here taking a look at this presentation, just like we're doing right now, I'm sharing the information. The person goes to your website based on what you've recommended. They signed up for the Legal Shield and ID Shield plan that Mr. Fehrenbach just went over for you, and you're already in profit mode, making $70. It is just that simple. And to get you set and started with your own business, it's only $49. And you definitely is such a value to go ahead and get started. And why is it so low, you asked? Well, because with our model, we're in the business of you going out, sharing with your community these products, these services, and these businesses, because we want you to share with your community, with individuals, with families, with small business owners, with their employees, so they can also too be protected and empowered. Well, all you do is you share the information with a few more families and a few more businesses, and voila, look at that. Now you are giving yourself a 28% raise, and now you're making $90 just for sharing that information again. And guess what? If you do that for about 1 or 2 families, and now you're into bonus mode where you're going to make $200 just for sharing it with a couple of more families or a couple more businesses. And you could do it in about 20 days, but you're probably going to do it in about 2 to 3 days. Well, guess what? If you want to make some more money and make some more bonuses, well, you go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. So again, you just share with a few more families or a few more businesses, and now you're making another bonus $2,500. You do that in the first 45 days, and there you go. You could probably do it in a whole week. And I tell you what, if you really enjoy making bonuses, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't know a business that you can start and decide how much you want to make and how much of a bonus you want to make and how fast that you want to make it. Well, I tell you what, share a few more families, share a few more businesses, and guess what? Now you're moving up to another bonus. And who doesn't like bonuses? If you like bonuses, as a matter of fact, go ahead and put a number 1 right there in the chat. I know that I love bonuses, especially when I can control the fact of when it is that I'm getting them. But I tell you what, you move all the way up to the executive director, and right there, yes, you get another bonus, $2,500. Again, just for sharing it with a few more families, a few more businesses. And then on top of the bonuses that I just shared, and yes, you can pick up all those bonuses all up in a row. Now you're making personal income per every one of those Legal Shield and ID Shield 6490 plans. You're making $370 on top of the bonuses. Tell me that that does not get you excited and all warm and fuzzy. I'm telling you, I love bonuses, but that's not all. Let's say you put a team together and you have one of me that's actually doing that as well, and do it 5 times a week. You're doing about $1,900 for the month, but don't just do it weekly, do it for the whole month. You can make about $96,000 annually just for sharing the information and presenting the information out to people in your community and business in your community. But on top of that, as you're building a team, now you as the executive director, you're going to make $300 in overrides just for other members of the team also going out there and sharing the information. Tell me that that is just not exciting. So I'm going to get out of the way in just a minute here. But before I do that, because I definitely want you to hear from some of my business partners, I have just got to tell you about Performance Club. It is definitely the club that you want to be a part of. And how do you get in the club? The same stuff that you're doing anyway. You're protecting about 2 to 4 families a month. That's all you got to do. Again, very simple. You send them the link or you send them to your website. Takes about 3 minutes because it's the website we put together for you. They sign up and voila, there we go. You'll be able to earn monthly bonuses up to $500 per month. But not only are you also getting the bonuses on top of the commissions that we just went over before, but you also can qualify for vacations all over the globe. And guess what? Our 2024 vacation is coming up. And guess where we're going to? Jamaica, me man. Let's say, hey, if you want to go on that trip with us, we definitely want you there. And we want to show you how to get there. Go ahead and put Jamaica, me man right there in the chat if you're interested and you want to know how you can join us on that trip. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way right now because I want you guys to hear from some of my business partners, and they're going to share with you as much as the excitement that I've shared with you so far, but I'm even more thrilled to go ahead and introduce them to you. And I'm going to start first with Mr. James Parrish, and he's located over there on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. Mr. James, would you go ahead and take it away for us?
Sure, I appreciate the introduction. So I currently work at a boarding school for disadvantaged youth here in Pennsylvania. And I was shown Legal Shield a little over 6 years ago, and I've used my membership, at least a dozen times. Everything from a trivial to traumatic, and I'll share a couple with you guys. So actually about 3 weeks ago, I was going to my storage unit, and I drive a large truck. It's an F-250, and I didn't notice a car right behind me. And so I backed up, and it was a small car. Couldn't even see it behind my bumper, and smacked it. Luckily, nobody was injured. Nobody was in the car, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I needed to call the police, file a police report, anything like that. And so I was able to call Legal Shield. And within a few minutes, I was able to talk to an attorney, and they just kind of walked me through it. So it ended up not being that big of a deal. And then something traumatic is actually a few years ago, I was on vacation. I was actually on a cruise, international in another country, and my son got injured. and I was able to call the attorneys, and they returned my phone call within a few minutes because we were actually leaving. So everything worked out, and I was able to go through that. So there's great value in the membership in that way. When I was shown Legal Shield, I had recently sold my business when someone shared everything with me. And having signed a contract when I was in that business, I didn't read the fine print. And to make a long story short, that contract, me not having it read by someone, actually cost me over $5,000 because I was sued because of it. I also had somebody fall on the sidewalk in front of my business, and I didn't know what to do. I had to call a lawyer to get some advice on that, and that was about $500. And so when I saw the membership, I knew the value was there, and so it just made sense to me from both a personal and a business owner standpoint. And after having the membership, I decided to share the membership with my warm market, which actually brought me to that level of manager. So if you look back at that slide that Sonora showed, I was able to get to manager, but just by sharing it with the people that I knew. So I now work my Legal Shield business on a spare time, sharing the amazing benefits with both Legal Shield and ID Shield with the people and the businesses that I meet in my everyday life. The more I use my membership, the more I look forward to sharing the business opportunity with people. And as the need continues to grow to make additional income, we need more people to share this amazing company. I appreciate the time, Sonora, and it's back to you.
Wow, that's definitely peace of mind. And what better way to have the opportunity to be able to just tap your app and be able to be in contact with your law firm so that you know exactly what your rights are. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over next to my next business partner here, Miss Jamie Barris, and she is located over in Ohio. Miss Jamie, take it away.
Hey, everybody. I want to share my story with you guys. For one, my background is in HR. I'm an HR business partner, and I've been doing that for over 15 years, something that I really enjoy doing until I had my first child. So for all of you who are mothers or parents and you have the octopus arms going on where you're juggling work and you're juggling sports and you're juggling school and you're juggling church and you're juggling everything else that you have going on, this is the reason that I decided to give Legal Shield an opportunity. I did not want to put my child in daycare. I did not want to be away from my child 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. That was not optional for me. I did not want to miss all the first time moments because this is my first child. I didn't want to miss the first words, the first walks, the first anything like that because of being confined to work. So I sought one of the work from home positions, I ran into Legal Shield, and I said, what better way than to make my own hours, create my own schedule, not be confined to a computer all day, not get nonstop phone calls saying, hey, this is Hallmark, how can I help you, or whatever the case is. So when I actually took it serious and took advantage of the opportunity, it was life-changing for me. Now, to also add to that, it made it simple for me to really join Legal Shield team because back in my early 20s, I actually utilized the membership myself. I moved to a whole nother state, did not know anyone there. I had a service animal at the time, and a hotel that I tried to check into denied me access because they had a no animal policy. Even though I knew that was completely illegal, I didn't know what to do. I was 20 years old. I was distraught and in tears because they would not let me in. I was able to speak to attorney 9 o'clock at night, and they took care of everything. By the time they got done talking to that hotel manager, the manager called me on my other line in tears herself because she thought she was going to get sued. And she was like, we are so sorry. We're apologetic. So it really made me already fall hard for the product because I've already had the experience. But to actually be years later, coming from a very well paid position, but now to make my own money on my own time, not miss a beat with my child, and not have the financial worries, it was a no brainer. So if you were like me in any capacity, you have those octopus arms and you're just juggling everything else and it's not on your time, this is the opportunity to join. And I promise you, you will not regret it.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for sharing your story and absolutely being there for those first moments and all of those things, as well as on your time. That is definitely the way to go. I'm gonna get ready to turn it over to my other business partner, Miss Yvette Eltrich, and she is out of New Hampshire, and I can't wait for you to hear her wonderful story. Go ahead, Miss Yvette.
Oh, Miss Danzler, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here this evening to share with you my story and how I get started with Legal Shield. I actually worked in the corporate office for well over 30 years and then decided to stay home to take in foster children. And I had a special needs foster child that, well, let's just say every time I went to court, I won every single time, because I had Legal Shield and I was able to use that to find out what my rights were and how I could help this child. Well, fast forward, I wanted to make some extra income. I decided to go back into the industry, the healthcare industry. And then I was introduced to Legal Shield. Well, no, I was introduced to the opportunity. I already used the plan, but I was introduced to the opportunity. And I thought, I'm already busy. I'm not really so sure I should really do this. But then when I saw the business model itself, I realized that I could do this because it was very flexible. So I started doing this on a part-time basis and realized that I could actually add this into my wheelhouse because real life happens all the time. And so I was able to offer this to business owners as well as to their employees. I absolutely love it. It's been fun. I realize that I'm a part of a mission that's just much bigger than myself, and what we do is important, noble work. And the fact that I can make the same, if not more than what I did in the corporate world, well, that just makes me happy. So back to you, Ms. Danzler. I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you to everyone for sharing. So as you just heard right there, ladies and gentlemen, and as we get ready to close up, let's go ahead and review. So the 5 areas that John mentioned to you earlier here that you want to evaluate. Well, number 1 is the company. This company right here, 50 years in the business, we're not a startup, and a need in the marketplace. Well, absolutely. Who do you know that has been told that they can't do something or possibly don't know their rights? Because everyone needs these products. And of course, the compensation, well, you definitely saw all of that. It's very lucrative, and you can decide how much you want to make and when you want to make it and when you want to give yourself a raise. And of course, the timing is now. What are you waiting for? Become a member, get the app on your phone, use the services, and it is as simple as 1, 2, and 3. You can start your own business for as low as $49, a one-time fee. You can do this business part-time, spare time, smidgens of time, share the information, use the amazing system that you've heard us talk about. You can get paid and then get plugged in. And like I said, it is just that simple. So simple as 1, 2, 3. Get back to the person who invited you this evening. They're going to text you their website link. It only takes 3 minutes. And I would like to personally thank all of you for coming and joining us this evening. I'd like to also thank Mr. Jim Tanner, Mr. John Fehrenbach, James Parrish, Jamie Barris, and Yvette Eltrich. And on behalf of everyone that's here this evening, I want to personally extend my welcome out to each and every one of you that's getting started right now and welcome you to Legal Shield. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.